Hello, welcome. So today we'll be looking at continuing our test on this endpoint. So we'll look at these parameters and then select just few. I've just selected few, about three that we'll be working on. We'll look at this maximum result, look at the ID and the keys. Of course, we won't be going through all of them because there are a lot of endpoints that we'll have to test manually and also automate because of time. So let's go back to our Postman. So in our previous video, we created this project. So we have enough project to actually carry out our testing. And today, let's go on with the test. So when you hit this search as usual, when you hit this search, you're going to have 5. We did that in our previous video. But then something I figured out that, or I felt that we should, this our global variable where we have these are base URL and my Jira token. We should instead put it on our environment variable. Now, as I said earlier, your global variable is seen around your workspace, right? But environment variable is just within the environment. Now, let me explain. When you create an environment variable, you have to come here and pick it first before it could be seen. Else, it won't be seen because it's not global. So there are a lot of variables we're going to drop here when we start automating. So I feel that we should just create these two on our environment variable, so for simplicity's sake. So let's just create that. So let's create a new environment variable. Let's call this, of course, this is Jira. So let's call it Jira server. You can call it anything. This is just what's coming to my mind. So we'll call this Jira server. And then I pick this base URL and then drop it here. And then pick my URL and drop it here. Right? Now for the Jira token, I pick the Jira token. Same and drop it here. And then pick all the token. I'll just Control A and pick everything. Control C, copy it, and then paste it here. Control V. Perfect. So let's save this. Right now, we can now delete these global variables. They're no longer needed here. Can delete and save. So there's nothing on our global variable at the moment, right? So you can see that our environment variable now has the Jira server, right? So when you come back here now, it's going to tell you, look at this now. The base URL is not picking anything. It says unresolved values. It's not picking it. Why? Because it's no longer global. We didn't put it on a global variable anymore. So you have to come here. Before you could see no variable here and there's nothing. Now, but look at it. When you click now, you can see our Jira server. We have environment variable now that is existing. Jira server, which is this. So once you click on this now, it now sees it. Look at it now. It's not seeing it. So that's just the difference. So your environment variable is saying within that environment. Right. Then once you have collection variable too. So let's go to our collection. So you click on your collection. These are collection. Is on our collection, is on our collection that we dropped our authorization, right? You can see this information. While every other one is now inheriting from the parents, because this our collection is the parents. So this is where we drop login details. You can also drop your environment, your variable here, right? Sorry, not environment, but collection variable. So what happens is that at this level, this any variable you drop here is seen within the collection, just within this collection. And once I create a new collection, look at the process of creating you hit this plus, right? Anything I drop here on this collection is not going to be seen by the new collection. So whatsoever that you drop here, whatsoever variable that you drop here is seen within the collection. So that is just these are the differences, right? Global, of course, you know the meaning of global. It's global. It could easily be seen, you know. Environment is within the environment, while collection is within the collection. By global supersede all of them. Global is seen by all, right? So now we've gotten an environment variable. So if you've done this now, each time you want to start testing, of course, when you open your Postman, by default, you're going to have no variable. So you must come here and pick this variable. If not, if you don't do that, your test is not going to be seeing anything, right? Let's do that. Let's remove it and see now. Now let's hit our endpoint. It's not seeing anything. We're getting error, right? We're getting error saying cloud agent error. Couldn't resolve host. It's not taking you anywhere because it cannot resolve this host, right? So you have to pick your environment. And then once you pick your server, your environment variable, which is we name this Jira server, you can name it anything you want to name it. So now it works perfectly fine. So we have our total, right? Total which we created in our previous video. The total is five projects which we have here. We created all of this in our previous video. Okay, so let's go back to our testing. Haven't settled that issue with environment. So we're looking at the query parameters. So I said we're going to look at this, and this three. So let's first of all test this one. So they said all you don't need to put in your parameter is um maximum results, and then they are giving you that you can choose anything, so it's an integer. The format is an integer, right? So let's pick this, Control C, I'm copying it. Now, where do you put parameters, right? If you look at your, let me close all this, we don't need them anymore. If you look at here now, you see this is the body. We are not doing anything with the body. We did that for create project yesterday, or in a previous video rather. This is where you put your params, this parameter, params. So the first thing is that they say we should put maximum results. So that is our key here. So we'll put maximum results. I just copied it and pasted here. Now, to actually test, the maximum result here is 50. So it could give me all the project that I've just created. So let's put I need two maximum results, right? I need two. So what I'm expecting, if you check here and I see that I have 5 results. Now the values is an array. This array means that it's picking so many of the results. So they are all in the array. So this is the first array. So this array 0. Of course, arrays are started from 0. Oh, I might have to do a crash course on JavaScript so you understand all these functions, arrays, and all that, because when we start automating, you are going to really need these informations. So this is the first array, which is array 0, which is number 1. This array is back end. Now this is the second one. This one is the front end, which is 2. This is the third one, payment project. This is the fourth one, which is QA, and this is the fifth one, which is my screen project at the end. So I want us to actually put a maximum of 2. So we just have, let's see if it's going to give us just 2 projects instead of the 5 that we currently have, right? So we'll put 2 and then we hit. So I'll be hitting this endpoint now. So let's just hit. But before then, now just take note of this. When you put your parameter, it automatically shows here. Then you will now have question mark. This question mark shows that this is a parameter. So let me just comment this out. Let me remove it. You see, we have the search, only search now. So once you just add the parameter, it automatically shows here. Start with a question mark, and then the key equal the value, right? So now let's hit this endpoint. Now we have maximum of 2. Of course, it's still picking the total project that we have, right, altogether. But now we have maximum on 2, and it's just going to show us 2 projects. So if you look at this array now, we have just 2, right? This is the first one. Pick the first one, which is backend project, right? And then look at the second one, a pick front end project. There's no other project. QA is not here. Payment is not here. Then my screen project is not here, right? So it means that this endpoint is working perfectly fine as expected. So let's change the value again and put something like 4. Now we have maximum result, sorry, of 4. So let's see how many that we got here. We have our back end, right? Now the second, we have the front end. The third, we have the payment. Remember that this payment was not showing when we selected 2. Now we have the fourth, we have QA. The last one, which is this one, is not showing. My screen project is not showing because we just selected 2, right? So on default, we can now return it to the 50 that it is. Of course, we don't have up to 50 projects, but at this stage now, it's going to give us the 5. Which is, let's go back and see it. Back end, the front end, the payment, the QA, this is the fourth one, and then the fifth one, which is my screen project. So this is working perfectly fine, right? So we're going to leave this here. Now the second we're going to be looking at is the ID. So let's pick the ID and drop it here. So what is our ID? The ID, this is the ID, right? So this ID, all of them have unique IDs. So this ID for backend. So let's pick this and see and put it here. So let's comment this out, right? We can comment, or you can still leave it, but then let's just leave it and see. As in, we have this ID, so we want it to give us this. Of course, now we now have the one that is giving us, now the ID is working perfectly fine. So though we were expecting it to give us maximum result of 50, but now we have just instructed that it should give us only the one that has this ID. So this ID now supersedes whatsoever we choose. Yeah, the maximum result is still here 50, but we just selected one ID, right? Which is this one, 10007, which is back end project, right? So it's working perfectly fine. So let's comment this out now and select and choose another ID, this ID. So let's pick this IDs for payments, right? And then pick this, remove this and paste. So we can comment this off and then send. So we have this, our ID, right? So the ID is working perfectly fine. So the last one now on the list is going to be the key. So let's look at the keys. Of course, if we're choosing the key, we have to comment this off because that is going to be conflicting. So let's just hit this first. Okay, this. Good. So let's look at the key. This key for backend, this is the key for backend. So we'll pick this and then drop it here. So we want to get this key, right? And then now we've gotten it, it worked. So we just gotten only for backend. So this is actually how you run your test, right? So let's remove it and then look for another key. And then this key is for payment. Now we'll drop it and hit. You see, we've gotten just for payments. So you see that these parameters are working perfectly fine. So we can save, right? And then comment this out. So of course they are all available here. All you just need to do whenever you want to test, you just hit, it becomes active. Now deactivate it. It becomes active, you deactivate, right? So that is just, you've already dropped it on your Postman. So you don't need to drop, copy and paste again or whatsoever, put it, it's already here. All you just need to do is to hit the active button, the checkbox. Once you check it, it becomes active. You click it again, it unchecks itself and become deactivated, right? So this is the manual testing for this. In our next video, we'll now automate all of these processes. First, we're going to automate the status code to see that we get the status code 200. Okay, once this endpoint is hit, yeah, status code 200. Now after that, we'll now start automating for the parameters, right? So that is just it. If you follow me to this stage and you've gotten all these results, bravo, you've done pretty well. If you are missing it, just go back to the video and then look at it very well. You should be able to get this result that I've gotten. Thank you very much and happy testing.